Day 476 of doing a LeetCode problem every day until I get a job. All right, y'all, we're back again. Another day, another LeetCode problem where we're doing daily LeetCode problems. And today we have question number 3195. Find the minimum area to cover all ones 1. The difficulty level is medium, but don't worry because you already know we're going to keep the solution as simple and easy to understand as possible. But before we get started, y'all, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And if you need any new Apple AirPods, go ahead and click that link in the description so you can get you some. Now let's see what the question says. You are given a 2D binary array grid. Find a rectangle with the horizontal and vertical sides with the smallest area such that all ones in the grid lie inside this rectangle. Return the minimum possible area of the rectangle. All right, y'all, so that sounds pretty simple, but let's take a look at these examples anyway just to make sure that we are answering this question correctly. So in example 1, we have our input grid equals a 2D array of integers 0, 1, 0, and 1, 0, 1. The output is 6. So first, before we get into the explanation, let's just go through what these arrays mean. And all they mean is this is the first row, 0, 1, 0, and this is the second row, 1, 0, 1, and these two arrays form our grid, right? We have 1, 0, 1, 0 and 1, 0, 1 to form a grid. We want to see what is the minimum possible area of the grid that we can create so that we have all, but it has to include all of the ones. So in this explanation, you can see this area that they have highlighted in red contains all of the ones, and it has an area of 6 because the area is length times width. So the length is 3, or excuse me, the length is 2, the width is 3, so 2 times 3 equals 6. So let's go ahead, and it says right here, the smallest rectangle has a height of 2, or excuse me, height times width has a height of 2 and a width of 3, so the area is 2 times 3, which equals 6. So let's take a look at example 2 where the area is not taking up the whole grid. So in example 2, we have our input grid equals a 2D array of integers 1, 0, and 0, 0. This time the output is 1. Explanation says the smallest rectangle has both height and width of 1, so it's 1 times 1, and that equals 1. So as you can see, there's only 1, 1 in this grid, so we can create a rectangle or a square around this 1, and that will be the smallest possible area that we can create that contains all of the ones in this grid, right? So since there's only 1, 1, that would mean the height is 1 and the length is 1. So 1 times 1 equals 1, and that's how the output is 1. So now that we understand the question, y'all, let's get into the fun part, the actual solution. Solution is not that difficult to understand at all. So the first thing we are going to do is we're going to initialize the boundaries of the rectangle. So first, we're going to declare a variable called lm, and we're going to set that equal to int.max. Boom. And that is going to be the leftmost column index containing a 1. Then we're going to say comma, or you can either say declare another variable, or in this case, we're just going to say comma. It's still going to be a variable. And then we're going to say rm equals int.min. And rm is going to be the rightmost column index containing a 1. Then we need to find the topmost row index containing a 1. So we're going to say tm equals int.max. And then we also need to find the bottommost row index containing a 1. So we're going to say comma bm equals int.min. Boom. Now we're going to loop through every cell in the grid by saying for I in 0 ... less than sign grid dot count. Boom. That's going to iterate through the rows. Then we're going to say for j in 0 ... grid square bracket I dot count, and that is going to iterate through the columns. Then we're going to open up the brackets. We're going to say if grid square bracket I square bracket j equals 1, equals 1, then we are going to say, we're going to open up the brackets and we are going to update the boundaries when we find a 1. So we're going to say LM equals min, open up the parentheses, LM comma J, and that's going to update the leftmost column. Then we're going to come underneath that, we're going to say RM equals max, open up the parentheses, RM comma J, and that's going to update the rightmost column. Then we're going to come underneath that, we're going to say TM equals min, open up the parentheses, sorry, that should say min, open up the parentheses, TM comma J, and that's going to update the topmost row. Then we are going to say BM equals max, open up the parentheses, BM comma J, and that is going to update the bottommost row. Boom. Then all we need to do is calculate the area or the rectangle area by coming down here, and we are going to say return BM, open up the parentheses, BM minus TM plus 1 times, come outside of the parentheses, times, open up some more parentheses, we're going to say RM minus LM plus 1. And that should be all she wrote, y'all. So let's go ahead and give it a run before we submit it. Make sure it runs correctly. Let's see. Okay, we have an error. Let's see. So, forgot the less than sign. Boom. So now let's run it again. Let's see. Oh, we got the wrong answer. So let's see where we went wrong. So let's see, y'all. Somewhere the math isn't mathing. However, it's not that much code, so hopefully we can find it faster. So let's see. So this should be TM comma I, and this should be BM comma I. So now let's run it again, see if that fixes it. And it's accepted. So let's go ahead and submit it. Make sure it's still make sure it's still accepted after we submit it. Let's see, y'all. Let's see. And look at that, y'all. 799 milliseconds beats 100% of users. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'd like to see, y'all. So with that being said, I hope y'all learned something today, and I hope to see y'all here tomorrow for another day, another LeetCode problem. See y'all then.